Welcome all to the Serendib Aquatics. Today, we are going to breed one of the most beautiful and rare tetra varieties called Raccoon Tetra. Raccoon Tetra was scientifically recently described in 2016 as Hyphessobrycon procyon. It is a very beautiful, unique small nano fish. This fish is uncommon but popular among aquarists due to its schooling behavior, peaceful disposition, unique color, unique feeding behavior, and small size. This fish can be the highlight in any peaceful community aquarium, and it is a particular standout in the planted aquarium with a dark substrate. The wild populations of this fish are unfortunately suffering. At the moment, few rare fish breeders are cultivating and preserving this magnificent species with captive breeding. This fish is categorized as a rare nanofish fish, and the price range will be very high for each fish. That is due to most of the time they came as wild-caught fish, and very few amounts came as a captive breed. Following these videos, you have the opportunity to gain much more knowledge about keeping and breeding this amazing Raccoon Tetra. Here we will share our experiences which we have while going through many more failed attempts until get successful results with breeding them. With our experience, we will guide you toward the best pathway to breed them without major failures. In this video, we will talk about important points that mainly focus on increasing the reproduction capacity of the Raccoon Tetra. Mainly, we are looking for the triggering procedure of adult fish for spawning. Here we talk about the origin and natural habitat of the fish, its appearance, behaviors, water chemistry that is compatible with raising Raccoon Tetra, sex differentiation of Raccoon Tetra, Tankmates of Raccoon Tetra, unique diet and dietary habits, and most importantly an interesting part of the video, which is the best breeding method of this amazing, very rare Raccoon Tetra. This video is a product that contains many more important points throughout the video. Please try to grab all the details in this video without missing anything. First, we will go through our intro. Now we will talk about the origin and natural habitat of Raccoon Tetra. This amazing little fish originates in South America, especially in the Amazon basin. It is exclusively indigenous to the Rio Aripuana, a tributary of the Rio Madeira in Brazil. They live in shallow, clear waterways. These tetras thrive in environments characterized by soft acidic water. Therefore, in a captive setup, also they like fine substrate and much more vegetated, clear, slow-moving water. Creating an appropriate habitat for Raccoon Tetras involves providing a shade aquarium adorned with plenty of driftwood. Driftwoods gradually release tannins into the water and keep the water pH value in low levels, and also tannin will act as an antimicrobial agent. Dense vegetation creates a sense of security for the fish. Furthermore, maintain the aquarium with darker substrates, moderate lights, and backgrounds can effectively accentuate the vibrant colors of these tetras. The average lifespan in natural habitat will go 3 to 4 years, and it will increase up to 5 years in captive setups. Now we talk about the appearance of Raccoon Tetra. An adult Raccoon Tetra fish size is approximately 1.5 to 2 inches in length. The Raccoon Tetra has a rosy gold body, complemented by a dark blotch at the base of the caudal fin. 2 red humeral spots grace each side of the aforementioned dark blotch. When they get mature elongated fins in a vibrant yellow hue further contribute to increasing the overall visual value of these tetras. The average lifespan of this species is 4 to 5 years if kept in an ideal environment. According to their behavior analysis, Raccoon Tetra fish is a shoaling species and must be kept in groups. The minimum size of the group must consist of 6 fish. Keeping them in large groups significantly reduces their stress and helps them show their true natural shoaling behavior and bright colors. For optimal color display and enhanced behavioral interactions, better to keep mixed sex groups with a good ratio of males and females. Keeping them in large groups will make the fish less nervous and result in a more natural-looking display. As with many tetra varieties, darker substrate will also often result in better coloration. Here you can see I use brown soil for the substrate. Now you can see how the color of fish. It is amazing, they have the best colors I have ever seen in my life. Floating plants and driftwood diffuse the light and create a more natural habitat in my aquarium. Raccoon Tetra is a peaceful species. Now we will look into their tankmates. We can put Raccoon Tetra with Asian rummy-nosed tetra, Galaxy raspbera, planted tank loach verities, algae eater verities, red neon blue eye rainbow fish, Sinepa red pencilfish, coral red pencilfish, red lizard whiptail catfish, killifish verities, dwarf raspbera, chili raspbera, neon tetra, small shrimp verities, forktail rainbow, and many more non-aggressive nano fish varieties. Now, we are talking about the water chemistry of their habitat. Raccoon Tetra is very easy to care for. All you have to do is replicate their natural habitat in your fish tank. Add a lot of live aquarium plants to replicate their natural environment. And using driftwood, multiple natural decorations can be added. The minimum tank size should be 10 gallons. The ideal water parameters for these fish are: water temperature is 24 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, 75.2 to 82.4 Fahrenheit. Water pH is 6 to 7. TDS value should be 100 to 150. Can tolerate GH value in between 3 to 6. When the temperature reduces to 24 degrees Celsius, 75.2 Fahrenheit, they will show more colors and activities also markedly increase. The system should be free of ammonia. Also, keep in mind aquarium setup should be cycled for at least 1 month and should start a good nitrogen cycle inside the tank. Therefore, you should prepare the tank and introduce some hard fish such as guppy to the tank and feed them every day. Then your tank nitrogen cycle starts slowly and is established in the tank. Then it will adjust automatically for your quantity of fish slowly. Now we are talking about sex differentiation. When they become sexually mature, it is very easy to differentiate between males and females. While both sexes exhibit a pinkish gold hue as adults, there are distinct characteristics that set them apart. Males have more pronounced orangey red coloration on their fins compared to the females. Males are larger than females. Male fins are more elongated than females. Males have prominently elongated dorsal fins. Males are thinner as compared to females. When we take the female, it has a rounded belly. This feature will only be prominent with the maturity of fish, because a female's belly gets rounded only with a prominent gravid. Diet and feeding play a good role in the breeding of this fish. Raccoon Tetra is an omnivore. It is preferable to feed them live and protein-rich foods like brine shrimp, daphnia, cyclops, frozen bloodworms, and fish flake food. Due to their nano size, these fish have small mouths and you need small food items. Here in Serendib Aquatics, we feed them with decapsulated brine shrimps and Dr. Baslier fish food. Most of the time, they are seeking live foods in the vegetation or floor. When we talk about the breeding of Raccoon Tetra, it is a very difficult task that can be achieved only with good patience and dedication. Breeding of Raccoon Tetra is a challenge. They do not show any parental care for their young. They are open water egg scatterers. There are 2 methods we can use for breeding this amazing fish. The first method involves isolating a small group, containing 2 males and 4 or 5 females, into a breeding tank with an air-powered sponge filter and a spawning medium such as Pelia moss or any moss variety with an egg trap. After the ER spawning process, you can remove the parents from the tank. This is the effective method that I also use in Serendib aquatic fish breeding projects. It is a very shy species. After the egg-laying process, we should remove the parents. It is the best commercial way to increase the reproduction of these fish. The second approach involves maintaining a colony of adults in a larger and fully decorated setup that should allow some fry to survive, if well planted. Aquatic mosses and floating plants with trailing roots are recommended as these fish spend the early part of their life close to the water surface and hide in the vegetation. We will talk about the first method further. Set up a separate breeding tank with a sponge filter and egg trap with some moss. The tank should be at least 5 gallons. It is beneficial to use a sponge filter from an already established tank, so it facilitates the cycling process of your tank. Also, put some Neocaridina shrimps as biological waste cleaners. They will eat all the left foods, and the tank will be less likely to drive towards an ammonia spike. You can see my breeding setup here. I used well-seasoned old water from my main planted tank. It has a rounded granite pebble at the bottom, an egg trap with Java moss, and my cherry red shrimp. Breeding tank water parameters I will mention here. pH value is 6. Here I used Indian almond leaf to reduce the pH value. The TDS value is 130. The water temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, 80.6 Fahrenheit. Ammonia is 0. I used a sponge filter and minimal light via a small clip light. Now choose a healthy, brightly colored 2 males and a few females, ideally 3 or 4 females. A single male can mate with several females during a single day. When you select males and females better to have different bloodlines, it will help to make a healthy fry. Initially, I selected 2 to 3 females in the breeding tank and fed those with decapsulated brine shrimps and mosquito larvae for 1 week. It helped me to make sure that the females were full of eggs. Here you can see one of my female fish is full of eggs following that week. The following 1 week late evening, I put the mature male into the breeding tank. Then put your light dim. Dim light will calm the fish for his new setup. Then another 24 hours he will be there in the tank. At that point, I add some tannin water to stabilize the tank. Now tank has a much more tannin color view. Give at least 48 hours to Seattle him in his new setup. Following 48 hours of introducing the male fish, you can introduce the female fish into the seasoned breeding setup. Keep both fish in setup for another 24 hours. That means it has been 72 hours after introducing males. Now both of them may have settled in the setup. Now we should trigger the spawning. Next day evening, turn off the lights, change the 40% of the water, and fill the 40% with cool water which has tannins. I already prepared the correct amount of tannin water and took the temperature around 18 Celsius. Then I refill the 40% with that water. Water change should be done within 1 to 2 hours. With that change, you should take down the temperature at least from 3 numbers. In my setup, I took down the temperature 27 to 23 degrees Celsius, 80.6 to 73.4 Fahrenheit. Most probably after 24 hours, they will spawn. Our water change should imitate the heavy rain. That is why we put cool water and tannins to reduce the pH. If fish are not going to spawn with 1 water change, the next day you should do the same water change again. It can do 3 days in a row. Most of the time they will spawn within 3 days. Otherwise, change the parents or feed the female with live foods for another week and try again. Initially, female starts to chase males. It is the initiation of breeding behavior. After 30 minutes, males start to chase the female into the vegetation for spawning. Then male fish push the female into the vegetation, and same time female lays eggs. Male fish spread sperm. This will happen as a quick, jerky movement near the surface of the water also. It is very difficult to video. You can see here an egg falling into the bottom near the egg trap. You can see the breeding chasing behavior in this footage. In my case, I switched on the aquarium lights at 8 AM, the following day of first water change for triggering. And late evening of that day, they started to breed. I carefully observed the tank to identify whether the spawning behavior was stopped or not. And at the time they stopped the egg laying process, I take out parents. You can see here some eggs are in the trap. Some are whitish and some are transparent. Transparent eggs are fertile eggs. Eggs will hatch in the same breeding tank. At the time, the female starts to lay eggs, female and male both are searching for eggs to eat. That is why we monitor the spawning behavior closely, and when they stop the spawning behavior at the same time, we should take all parents out from the tank. Otherwise, within 10 to 20 minutes, all eggs will be eaten by other fish and you will end up with 0 eggs on that day. I had that experience many days ago, but eggs that are in the egg trap will survive. But if you keep an eye on the tank, you can save some other eggs that are scattered on the floor of the tank. The incubation period is usually 24 hours. It depends on the water parameters. Temperature plays a main role in the hatching process. In my tank with 27 degrees Celsius, 80.6 Fahrenheit, it hatched the following 24 hours. Here you can see the first hatching fry. They are hanging on the surfaces. 24 hours of hatching, they will look like this. They developed some shape of a small fish. Here you can see fry. Following 72 hours of hatching, they have eyes. After 72 hours later, they have quick movements, and on day 4, they will start swimming in a horizontal plane like a fish. You can see here day 4 and 5 fry. Fry are so small. On the first day of free swim, they are seeking food to eat. At that point, you can feed them with Serendib Aquatic Prime Egg Yolk Solution on day 1 of the free swim stage up to day 3. Following day 4 of the free swim stage, you can feed powder foods, decapsulated brine shrimps, and live brine shrimps. Here you can see fry with orange bellies. That means they have been fed with live brine shrimps. Here you can see day 5 fry. I will put the link in the description for those who are interested in trying the Serendib Aquatic Prime Egg Yolk Solution. You can watch the video on how we make it in the correct method. When you start to feed with live brine shrimps, at least feed them 3 times daily in small quantities. You can see here that the fry is thriving in the same tank in good condition. When babies reach day 10, they developed pale black vertical strips all over the body. You can see here the day 10 fry. Here you can see day 14 fry. Now they are much larger. At day 20, they developed tail color. It is a black and white pattern. When they reach day 30, they are very beautiful and active. My largest fish on day 30 is about 1 centimeter in size. Now is the time to shift all babies to a large growing aquarium for a better growth rate. This is the whole story behind the successful breeding of Raccoon Tetra fish. This is a very difficult task. You will go through many more failure attempts, but this video will guide you to avoid failures and go toward the successful breeding of Raccoon Tetra. Don't worry, hereafter, you will be a master of breeding Raccoon Tetra with good knowledge of its unique set of behaviors. Thank you for joining Serendib Aquatics. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. I will try to reply to all comments. You can share your knowledge with others about Raccoon Tetra. Put your experience as a comment below. Serendib Aquatics will see you in our next fish breeding video as soon as possible. Hang on with Serendib Aquatics.